Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Knowledge Nest. This is the second episode of the CSI Libraries podcast. We have had of you listen in to the first episode, and so we're going to continue now with news and information about the book club on February 23rd, as well as advice on how to research using library resources. We would like to thank the CSI marketing team for hosting us. We transferred over to the general CSI YouTube account, so hopefully we'll be able to have an even broader reach than we did before. So the library, as stated in the last episode, has the Fourth Wall Art Gallery. And we have had a pretty steady stream of submissions to this art gallery, which is really nice, and we wanted to have even more. So please come and visit and contribute to the Fourth Wall Art Gallery. You don't have to be a major artist to contribute to this. We want as many people as possible to share their creativity, to share their feelings, to share their views through art. Another way to share your artistic creativity is another program by Ross Sampak. He's created a bunch of crafts every month. Come and see the crafts that he is creating for you to duplicate. Right now he has a lot of Valentine's Day crafts, so that should be really fun. Celebrate Valentine's Day. And then a week after Valentine's Day, on February 23rd at noon, is our book club, led by Allison Beard. And we have Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia as the subject of this book club. And so you have 2 weeks to read this book. It's a really good book. I've read it myself. Here's a little summary provided by Goodreads. After receiving a frantic letter from her newlywed cousin begging for someone to save her from a mysterious doom, Noemi Taboada heads to High Place, a distant house in the Mexican countryside. She's not sure what she will find. Her cousin's husband, a handsome Englishman, is a stranger, and Noemi knows little about his region. Noemi is also an unlikely rescuer. She's a glamorous debutante, and her chic gowns and perfect red lipstick are more suited for cocktail parties than amateur sleuthing. But she's also tough and smart, with an indomitable will, and she is not afraid. Not of her cousin's new husband, who is both menacing and alluring, not of his father, the ancient patriarch, who seems to be fascinated by Noemi, not even of the house itself, which begins to invade Noemi's dreams with visions of blood and doom. Her only ally in this inhospitable abode is the family's youngest son. Shy and gentle, he seems to want to help Noemi, but might also be hiding dark knowledge about his family's past, for there are many secrets behind the walls of High Place. The family's once colossal wealth and fated mining empire kept them from prying eyes, but as Noemi digs deeper, she unearths stories of violence and madness. And Noemi, mesmerized by the terrifying yet seductive world of High Place, may soon find it impossible to ever leave this enigmatic house behind. So this is a very exciting book. It's available in English and in Spanish, which is also highlighting our Spanish collection, which is growing and growing consistently. We are just a few days ago had new orders for more books in the Spanish collection, so that's going to be really exciting. But this book club is going to emphasize on February 23rd at noon the Spanish collection with Mexican Gothic, or Gótico, by Silvia Moreno Garcia. We hope to see you there. There should be a wonderful time and an interesting experience. Whenever I join book clubs and whenever I read books with groups, it's always interesting to see what similar perspectives people have, but also how everyone's perspective is a little bit different. You get their backgrounds, you get their ideologies, their education, all these different facets, and everyone can have similar perspectives, and some people can have widely different perspectives, but everyone learns from everyone's insights into the book. So that is the book club for you. We're going to have a wonderful time. Hope to see you there. Now, the next thing we want to talk about on this episode is studying and researching using the library website. This is something that a lot of you will use. We have it's estimated that around 70% of students at CSI are using online resources. A lot of them don't come to campus, but they do use our library resources and they do use our online education offerings. So here's a lot of tips on how to research and study using the library website. So if you go to the homepage, which I'm on right now, I can't share my screen with you, but just go to the homepage with me, csi.library.edu or csi.ent.cerci.net, and you'll find a bunch of tags and buttons on the right and the left side. So on the left side, which is what you might see first because its first entry is a huge search button, you can search for general things through all of our collections and all of our online offerings, or you can search through article databases, ebook collections for different publications, and open access reading materials, which are very important. I encourage you all to use your open access materials in my position as the open access librarian. And you can also look at research guides on LibGuides. How do you use LibGuides? What exactly are LibGuides? So LibGuides are pages that were created by the librarians to help students like you who are wanting to research, who are wanting to know more about certain topics. Educators can also use these resources. They're not only for students, but there's pages on agriculture, biology, business and information systems. There's pages on the library itself. There's pages on intellectual property, plagiarism, ethics, all sorts of things. I created a visual images research page a few days ago. All sorts of research topics and guides on this LibGuides page. Another useful help for researching is the Guide to Research created by our reference librarian, Dave Horalick. Please use this. It's on the right-hand side of the page, 3 buttons down, Guide to Research, Library, and Research Tutorials. Enroll in the course to earn certificates. Some instructors make this a required part of their courses, but you can enroll in it even if you aren't enrolled in any other course. Just go and click on the button, and then click on Enroll in the course, sign in, and you can go to the course. So the course has 3 modules, main modules. Welcome to the CSI Library, which is a resource that covers kind of library resources in the context of CSI. Getting started with research and going beyond the basics are the other 2 modules, mini courses, and these are more general. You can use these even beyond your time at CSI. But even the CSI module is useful in exploring general library materials, and you can utilize a lot of the same strategies that Dave suggests in that module with other libraries. So please use the Guide to Research module. Now let's go to the guides again, and let's look at guides you can find. Well, really, it's also on the homepage of the library. It's 5 pages, 5 buttons down on the right side. You can click on a button that's called Evaluating Sources. You can also access this by going to the Communication, Fake News, Fact-Checking, and Evaluating Sources page in the Communication part of LibGuides. Either way, it will take you to a page called Fake News, Fact-Checking, and Evaluating Sources. And on this page are a bunch of resources, books, infographics, links to different websites, even the Cornell University, Johns Hopkins, useful videos, all about determining whether or not your information is coming from a reliable source and whether or not it is being presented in the right context. All sorts of research tips are included in these guides. And so I like to highlight one of the infographics that's on the lower left, or in the middle, really, of the page. It's called How to Spot Fake News, and it was created by the International Federation of Library Associations and Institutions. And so this page has a lot of useful research tips. We can go to that page, IFLA, and check out their resources. But on this infographic, it has 8 different steps to evaluate your potential resources. The first one is consider the source. Click away from the story, click away from the main material you are using to investigate the site, its mission, its contact information, its possible biases. Looking at the information provided in a material beyond what you can immediately see is very, very important, especially looking at the origin. You might want to research the institution or the group that is creating the material to see what else they're affiliated with. Another one, kind of related to the first one, is read beyond. Headlines can be outrageous in an effort to get clicks. What's the whole story? Look at the actual content of the story rather than the headline alone or the title alone. Clickbait, social media tactics, they can all be used to give manipulative information. The third one is check the author. Do a quick search on the author. Are they credible? Are they real? Look at a lot of these contributors to see if they have the credentials they claim to have, or if their credentials are applicable to the material and the field in which they are writing. Just because someone is an expert in one field does not make them an expert in another field, unless they have also credentials in that field. So check the credentials. Look at the supporting sources. That's the fourth tip. Click on the links in the references in your article or your web page. Determine if the information given in those sources actually supports what's being claimed in the original material. And you might want to click on the resources and references in those pages. And you don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but looking at the links and looking at the supporting materials to your original research source is a very important strategy. The fifth one is check the date. Repost old news stories doesn't mean they're relevant to current events. The fifth one is to check the date of the item. Reposting old news stories doesn't mean that they're relevant to current events. Some news groups or a lot of organizations repost old news stories to give context to current events. And so they're not primarily meant to rehash what happened in years past, but they're meant to give context to things that are happening now. And so check the most valuable and most relevant, up-to-date, current information in the stories that you're looking at. The sixth one, is it a joke? If it's too outlandish, it might be satire. Research the site and the author just to be sure. I've been fooled by a lot of satire sites when I was not schooled in the library, research, college things when I was in high school. They can be tricky. They can be manipulative if you take them seriously. So satire is good, but make sure that what you're reading isn't satire if it's claiming specific things. The seventh one, check your biases. Consider if your own beliefs could affect your judgment. Confirmation bias is a major thing in research and in information circles. Check to make sure that you're not reading or interpreting information in the way that you previously have determined. Make sure that you are not letting your personal views cloud what the data or what information is being presented to you. A way to do that is the eighth tip, and that is to ask experts. Ask a librarian or consult a fact-checking site. And you might want to check a fact-checking site or another resource for that fact-checking site. Do research beyond what is being presented. Again, you want to make sure that the fact-checking site isn't biased in its own way. So continuous research and continuous fact-checking is an important part of library and information sciences. Another button on the front page of the library website, which is very important, Learning and Express. It is 5 from the bottom on the right-hand side of the page. Click Learning Express. And you'll be taken to a page that is provided by Lily, Libraries Linking Idaho. Thank you very much, Lily. And by EBSCO. And it holds an amazing amount of information regarding career, education, software resources, and you can learn basic skills. And they're all free, provided by the college through Libraries Linking Idaho. So this is an amazing resource that I didn't know about until I came to CSI. It's provided to other libraries in Idaho, but I had no idea it existed until I came to CSI. So make sure that you're making use of the resources that are provided by CSI, through CSI, to CSI. So that's the library website. Let's look at some more additions to the library physical items and the library's resources that you can come into the library and access. Allison has set up library freebies, little free things that you can have in the drawer of the front desk. And there's also a display of free items you can get. We have sticky notes. We have a bunch of things that you might need for a test or for your research. Come and see what we have. We have a lot of things that you can use. We also have new iSTEM kits. We specifically have 2 3D printers and 2 indoor drone kits. Each drone kit comes with 3 small drones and several other supplies, and each kit has 3 boxes which are labeled. And there's also a sheet on top of the boxes with a list of all contents in the box. So what exactly are iSTEM materials? iSTEM materials are items that are used in science, technology, engineering, and math programs, and they're available to be checked out by educators. So how do you access this? You go to the iSTEM library link. That's 4 from the bottom on the right side of the front page, again, using the library website. And then you can click on the link, how do I request iSTEM library materials? And if the material is available, you'll be taken to an online catalog. And if it's available, you can come to the library, CSI library. Then you can call 208-732-6500, which is the front desk, and come here and arrange pickup. You will need a photo ID, but they're available freely to all educators who want to use them. And you can check out the item for 2 weeks. This is an amazing resource provided in part by the Teaching and Learning Center. Chris Harper is the director of that, and he is partnered with the library. They have partnered with the library to provide iSTEM items for tangible interactions and tangible learning experiences with STEM principles. It's a really wonderful resource. Please use it. Please take advantage of the iSTEM items because they are amazing in what they can help you do. So that is all for the second episode of the Knowledge Nest. Thank you for watching. Thank you for participating. And we want to be able to feature you. We've asked for feedback in the last episode. Please give us as much feedback as you want, but also send in an audio recording or a textual review of your favorite books that you have checked out from a library, preferably the CSI library, but any library will do. I will read or feature your review on the podcast, and I may even read and review the book myself. I love reading books. I'm a librarian, but librarians don't necessarily have to read books. I love reading books, so I can add my own insight to the book. They may even become part of the book club, pending review. We are always looking for references and for referrals to the book club. So send in your reviews to rhepler@csi.edu or record an audio message on the Anchor podcast website at anchor.fm/CSI_library. Thank you so much for listening and participating in this podcast. Upcoming in future weeks, we will have coffee talks with the library staff, just casual talks. We'll have interviews with library staff members, and we'll also have potentially interviews with other staff members at CSI, how they've used the library, and how they use information literacy and research in their work and in their daily lives. Thank you for listening. This has been Knowledge Nest with the CSI Library.